Alright, UFC 295 wrapped up this past weekend. We already made a video talking about, the main event, the co-main event, and just reviewing my overall thoughts of UFC 295. But I like to take this Monday, the Monday after the pay-per-view, to discuss what's next, what's up for the future. And one of the things I want to talk about, I think one of the biggest stories of the next day, that story would be Israel Adesanya versus Alex Pereira 3. And this is a matchup that I said, in the beginning there, I said I wouldn't be surprised if this was a UFC 300 main event. When Adesanya beat Pereira, I was like, yo, if he's the champion, if Izzy's the champion, and, Alex becomes the champion, why not have those two fight in a trilogy? But things are a little bit different because, as you know, Izzy lost to Sean Strickland. So does he deserve the next title shot at light heavyweight? We're going to talk about all that. But first, I want to remind you guys that the subscribe button, like, comment, and share. We're trying to hit 20K by the end of the year. You guys are the best fan base in MMA, so I know you're going to help me with that goal. And I'm here to talk to you guys why I think Izzy actually does kind of deserve the next shot, why it makes sense, and we're going to get into that right now. If you guys missed it over the past weekend, Jiri Prochazka and Alex Pereira, they faced off for the vacant light heavyweight title, and this was a matchup I thought was going to be insane. Did the fight live up to it in my mind? I'm going to be honest, I thought the fight would be a little more hectic and a little more back and forth, but in the middle of round 2, I genuinely thought that Jiri had his number. I thought that Jiri was going to win the matchup because I just saw him landing the better shots. I thought that Alex didn't have any answers for it, and then all of a sudden he pulls out a beautiful counter, perfectly set up and perfectly read shot. So I'm not trying to take anything away from Alex Pereira or call this win a fluke by any way. Yeah, he surprised me. I did pick Alex by second round knockout, and I did think that Jiri was going to be better than him, landing mostly the better shots, but I was just like, Alex didn't really seem to be finding any of his timing. I mean, those calf kicks were brutal, but now Alex Pereira got the knockout finish. We discussed about the finish yesterday, so I don't want to get too much into it. Like I said, you guys should definitely go check that video out. But I want to say, for all of you guys talking to me saying that I can't say that it is an early stoppage because Jiri admitted it, everybody's saying this, let's not pretend like we don't know what's going on. Jiri is a class act, right? Jiri is not going to take away a victory from Alex Pereira, and this is coming from a guy that wanted Alex to win. This is coming from a guy that preferred Alex, that was an Alex fan. So I'm not even, trying to be an Alex Pereira hater or a Jiri dick rider here. I was for Alex. I think this was an early stoppage, and Jiri, of course, is going to say that, and respect to him, man, because he could have taken the opportunity and said, hey, that was an early stoppage. I was okay. Let's run this back. And to be honest, he probably should have done that because I feel like that would have been a realistic possibility, seeing that, Jamal Hill might not be ready for a while, and there's no one else really at light heavyweight that is besides Israel Adesanya, who, of course, just lost his middleweight title, and he doesn't have a lot of things going on right now. And obviously, for those of you guys that have been living under a rock the past few years, Alex Pereira and Israel Adesanya have a deep beef stemming from kickboxing when they were both in kickboxing, and Alex beat him twice, and then Alex went to MMA, beat Izzy for a third time, and then in April of this year, Israel Adesanya knocked out Alex Pereira in that second round in a fight that I thought Alex was doing very good, and I thought he was destroying Israel Adesanya in that second round up until that counter, and I thought a lot of it had to do with the weight cut. I said it at the time, I said it back in April, I said, guys, I think a lot of it had to do with the weight cut. The dude is cutting so much weight to get to light heavyweight, let alone middleweight. The guy has struggled with weight multiple times. He almost didn't make weight last year at the MSG card, and the guy would kill himself to make that weight. It is not healthy. You're going to be easily more knocked out. Your cardio is going to be affected. Your strength. It is not good to dehydrate yourself right before a fight. Ideally, you'd want to be, as healthy as possible. Of course, there's going to be weight cutting, but you want to manage it to make it at least better. That's why you lose weight up until, that cut, so it's just a bit easier, and water load and things like that. I don't need to explain this all to you guys. You guys already know. Then Alex went on to beat Jan, and now he got his title shot against Jiri, and now we're at the present. Izzy lost to Sean Strickland in a dominant fashion. I don't think he deserves an immediate rematch against Sean Strickland, and we know that that's not going to happen now because Sean Strickland is fighting Dricus du Plessis in January. So where does this leave Israel Adesanya? Does he wait for the winner of that fight? Maybe if Dricus wins, maybe then he gets to fight Dricus and they finally get to settle that beef that they have? Or does he come back and fight Sean Strickland? One of the things that I would like to see from Israel Adesanya, if I'm going to be honest, I think UFC 300 should be McGregor versus Chandler, co-main event, Israel Adesanya versus Hamza Chimaev. Just saying, I've been saying that for a while now. I think that's the best matchup to go. But if not that, I honestly think if I'm Israel Adesanya wanting to get back in the game, and there's a possibility that he does not, and then we're going to get into that possibility. But if I'm Israel Adesanya wanting the money, wanting the next big fight, looking for that, if I'm him, I would have called out Alex Pereira the minute he won and said, hey, let's settle this trilogy. It isn't going to be super disrespectful even, just, hey, let's settle this. I beat you once, you beat me once, let's settle this once and for all. 205, let me get the next belt, because this was a dream Adesanya had. Remember, he fought Jan Blachowicz and lost, and yeah, that was a pretty close fight, but still, I mean, Alex Pereira was able to beat Jan Blachowicz, and I want to give Izzy some credit here. To be fair, if Adesanya versus Jan was 3 rounds, if you guys will recall the first 3 rounds, Izzy would have also won a 29-28 decision, just saying. Once again, this is also coming from someone that isn't even an Izzy fan, guys. That's the thing, is sometimes I say these unpopular opinions, and you guys accuse me of, dick riding this person, guys. I'm just telling you how it is. But regardless, that was Israel Adesanya's dream, and I think that this would be a fair matchup, and let's be honest, Israel Adesanya just beat Alex Pereira, and that gives Alex Pereira incentive incentive to want that matchup. I mean, I was surprised to hear Alex Pereira being the one to call out Izzy, seeing that, let's be honest, Pereira does not need Izzy. Israel Adesanya needs Pereira right now. Where they are at their career right now, Adesanya does not have really a clear path to go next. Sean Strickland beat him dominantly. I mean, Drekus is now booked. Hamzat's a good matchup, but even then, that's not a clear matchup. And let's be honest, that's not an easy matchup either, even though I think I would favor Israel Adesanya. So I think if I'm Izzy, I'm like, look, this is a massive fight. This could be a big pay-per-view. Let me get on this. Let me try to challenge Alex Pereira for that belt at 205. And if I win, I'm now a 2-division champion. And maybe he comes back down to middleweight, and that could set up a, you know, Sean Strickland rematch, or I could set up a Drekus Duplessis fight, whoever's going to be the middleweight champ at that time. It'll set up that fight with Israel Adesanya, which will be massive. And I have seen some people say, hey, Izzy doesn't deserve it. Look, if there was a guy, you know, #1 contender right now, I would say no, let's not give it to Izzy. But seeing that Israel Adesanya beat Pereira less than a year ago, and they have this whole rivalry, and the first fight they had was close in MMA, and the first fight that they had in kickboxing was very close as well, and all their fights have been really close, let's be honest. Let's set this up. This is up a weight class. This is a challenge for Israel Adesanya, and there's something for Izzy if he wins. This isn't just a bad matchup. He gets to, you know, correct his legacy. A lot of people look at Pereira as the better fighter, even despite that last fight. You get to cement your legacy as the better fighter against this guy. You get the 205 strap. Honestly, if Izzy was to beat Pereira in a third fight, Izzy could do whatever he wants after. He could fight at middleweight. He could fight at fucking heavyweight, because the guy would have the world in the palm of his hands once again. So I think if I'm Izzy, I think you should go for it. But will Israel Adesanya? I honestly gave him more of the benefit of the doubt, but honestly, after thinking about it, he might not. This is a bad matchup for him. I mean, Alex Pereira, honestly, I think a lot of his success with Izzy is a lot of the size difference. It's not the only thing, but it's one of them, of course. A lot of it is his technique, his power. So I'm not trying to take away anything from Alex at all. He is clearly the better fighter in my opinion, and I said this in the build-up of the second Izzy fight. But fighting him at 205 now, I mean, the guy is going to be much bigger than Israel Adesanya. I mean, Israel Adesanya is coming from middleweight. I mean, if you guys recall when Israel Adesanya was at 205, he weighed in, I think it was like 203 pounds or something like that. He was not filling out that light heavyweight frame, and it definitely hurt him. I think Israel Adesanya is probably going to take maybe a year off, maybe 2 years off, and return. Maybe see where the middleweight division is. The guy could honestly retire. The guy has probably a lot of money right now. The guy could go into boxing. I'm sure the guy has a lot of options, but I'm sure we will see him fight in the UFC again. But if not him, who is next? I mean, Jamal Hill, I don't think he's going to be back anytime soon. I think that fight would happen in the summer, if anything. Magomed Ankalaev and Johnny Walker are supposed to rematch. Jiri Prochazka doesn't have a matchup, but he just lost, and he's obviously not going to get an immediate rematch, but I guess that is possible. You never know. Here's my thing, and I want to correct this. I said this yesterday. What do I think should be next? Magomed Ankalaev clearly illegally kneed Johnny Walker, right? That was an illegal knee, should have been DQ'd, and fuck the rematch. Give Johnny Walker, you know, he got wronged in that situation. Give him Jiri. Let's see that matchup. Whoever wins fights Alex next, because Johnny Walker and Alex is a fun matchup. There's a reason for the rematch, so whoever wins that fight, make that a #1 contender fight, and fuck Magomed Ankalaev, because the guy has been nothing but annoying in his last 2 fights. Like, I'm sorry, I'm sure the guy's a nice guy, but what the fuck? Like, every time he has something to complain about. So let him fight Nikita Krylov, and Jan is already supposed to fight Ratchet, so that whole light heavyweight division is all set up. I think Alex winning has saved the light heavyweight division. It's been kind of a wreck. There hasn't been a real clear contender, real clear star, I should say, since John Jones has left. And I feel like it's just been this guy in, this guy out, and now I feel like we're finally in a spot because Alex Pereira has a lot of hype. He has a lot of casual fans tuning in now, and I think him becoming the champion and beating Jiri is only going to elevate his stardom. So in my opinion, I think this is how it should go. Maybe Jamal Hill will be ready in time. They're probably going to do the Magomed Ankalaev and Johnny Walker matchup, but I do hope that they do my plan, because I think Magomed Ankalaev, the guy clearly illegally needs Johnny Walker. It's not fair for Johnny Walker. Let him get that #1 contenders fight, and plus I would love to see him in Pereira. That's a fun matchup if you guys know Johnny Walker. Anyway guys, yeah, that was UFC 295. Let me know in the comment section below, what do you guys think should be next for the light heavyweight division? What do you guys want to see me talk about next? There's so much news. UFC 295. I'm going to make a video coming up breaking down Paul Craig versus Brendan Allen, that fight night coming up, so tune in for that. Thank you guys for watching. You guys are the best fan base in MMA, and I'll see you guys in the next one.